Okay, I had to cancel my live, so I have no idea if anybody's coming back. Hopefully someone will come back, but I had to cancel my live. Maybe someone will come back, but I had like 30 people on here. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, guys. So maybe someone will come back. Oops. Whoopsie. Okay, someone's here. Or I got at least one like. Okay. So anyway. Hi, yeah, sorry guys. I'm so sorry. I accidentally pulled my cord out. That's all me. Yeah, hopefully people will come back. But yeah, if you can you guys hear me okay? Everybody good? We're good? Okay. What were we talking about? Somebody remind me. I'm so happy to see Enchanted Essays here. Enchanted Essays. If you guys haven't subscribed to Enchanted Essays, yeah, Chris, does anybody remember what I was talking about? What was I yapping about? No, Enchanted Essays, I'm not sweet. Enchanted Essays has some of the best editing and these like good, exciting UK music clips. YouTube. I was talking about YouTube. What about YouTube? I was just talking shit. Oh, yeah, no, I don't know. I don't really watch. But no, I like kind of staying in my own lane. I like just staying in my own lane and watching stuff. So I don't watch other music channels really. I've watched a couple here and there, but not really. How did you meet Abigail DeVoe? Okay. So one of my friends is just one of my friends knows my little rule about not watching other Beatles creators. So she messaged me and said, "Hey, Abby mentioned you on her like season end or whatever end." And so I went and she just told me like timestamp X whatever. So I go click at it and I was like, "Oh my God, hey, and so I said, "Thank you so much." Um and I found her on Instagram and we DM'd and we became friends and we shared, which I rarely at the time was sharing subjects before I put them out. So I was like, I think the White Album's going to kill me. And she was like, are you doing a White Album video? I'm doing a White Album video. And I was like, oh shit. And so we both knew that we were doing it at the same time. Then after the White Album, like mental breakdown, I got off Instagram. She had my number. And so we kind of stayed in touch for a little bit. And then somebody, I think maybe it was Abby, I don't know, somebody told yeah, Chris, I bet you do because you should get mentioned on Season Ends as well. Chris McGovern, Gen X Muse podcast. Like I came back and Nancy from Vinyl Fridays DM'd me and was like, I've been told that we should be friends. And then so we became friends and we hit it off like we just hit it off crazy well immediately. And then she had mentioned wanting to do like a top 10 photo thing and I was like, should we get Abby involved? Should we get the top 3, the ones that everybody talks about? And we were like, they might lose their minds. So then Nancy made the group chat and Abby just like immediately replied and like made a meme and was like me watching this video or this chat coming together. And it was like, so yeah, we had a really fun time with that collab. We're not sure if there's going to be one, coming up soon at all. The editing was extremely hard for Nancy. It was so much work. And it was like she was like barely sleeping for a couple of days in a row. And the way Abby plans out her stuff is crazy. Abby, I don't know how she does it. Like she has plans on, she has like 2 years planned out. She's crazy. And then I have like a full-time freelance job. So it's really hard to like stop for me, it's really hard to stop a topic when I'm working on something and I'm like really in the dregs of it. It's hard for me to say like, oh, I'm going to pause. Like I really usually can't do it. So, but we had really fun, and so we talked and we were like, "We'll figure it out. We might do it again, like, soon. We might do it, like, next year," but we're talking about just having Zoom chats for ourselves because we have fun, but, um, I think if I put one up, it'll just be, like it'll be an unedited, like, Zoom, but, whatever. It is what it is. I get it. I have 12 reviews on the queue in the queue of my music blog that I haven't gone live. Yep. Maybe a format change to something less edited. I think what the issue was with the collab was that we all had different framing and we didn't plan it very well. And they had their audio coming from a different thing and their cameras, and I just had mine on Zoom because my computer doesn't like me that much right now. Because basically, when I got this computer, I thought I was just being a journalist and not a 9-hour video maker. So I'm stupid. My specs are bad, and I don't have new iMac money. But yeah. Um, as of right now, let's see. Right now, let's see, the unexpected side quest. I gotta say, Abby, Fathom, and I are like we love each other. We are tight. Like we are so lovey toward each. We are like, so it's really funny because Nancy and I talked about it just at the very beginning. We don't watch each other's videos. We click on each other's videos, we like it, and then we exit out. Like it is an agreement. And then Abby watches both of us because she's insane. But um like Abby, she watched my freaking White Album video every day for 2 hours for 5 days. She's insane. Yeah, I felt the love and respect y'all have. We love each other. Like, it is just we love each other so much, and, it is really, really, really refreshing to know that, like, it's all love, and, we're completely exclusionary. We've talked about how we don't want high fruit cakes. We've talked about how I'm like, "I don't want another person in this group," and they're like, "Nope, it's a three-peat, it's the 3 of us, and that's it." But we're very, very close, and we love each other very much. I have had it on all night while I'm sleeping. Last time I had it on. The White Album video? That's crazy. I wouldn't do that. No, you're good. No, if I gotta tell you guys, the White Album video is extremely close to hitting 19,000. And I have feelings, thoughts, opinions, possibilities that um it might wind up at some point beating the Rubber Soul video, which is crazy. Let me see where we're at views wise. Let me just take a little look see. 18,932. And by the way, views don't go up like they have to be unique views. So if you've watched it once and then you click on it again, it's not 2 views, it's just 1. Um, can't wait when we circle back over Zoom with Live Aid. Yeah, Angel and I, as we go along with Angel, if you see him in the chat, go like him, subscribe to him as well. Um, he's a musician who covers and chats with people about local music scenes. Is so interesting. But Angel is my collaborator on the Live Aid video. I wouldn't have done this video at all without him, and he is so smart. And we've done it 1 Zoom, but we're gonna do 2 Zoom. Second Zoom. The first one is definitely a Patreon thing where there's like certain things that will make it into the video, but the second video is gonna be like more structured because I have to be a journalist and make up little topics. Oh, what I remember what I was saying. Was earlier that I have like a full-time freelance gig. So like it's hard to make things work uh with time, you know? So like my priorities are always like whatever story I'm writing has to come first, which is difficult. And then but um usually if it's not during like the writing week, we're good. And then Patreon has to come second and then YouTube. because in my patrons are very, like, the gold passport holders are extremely, extremely patient, loving people who put up with so much shit from me. There were a bunch of people that showed up during the Yellow Submarine era, and I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." Like, because the Yellow Submarine era on Patreon, it was a dark time. It was a dark time. Abby was championing Lars Lane and Vinyl Friday for a long time, honest. Abby is an extremely nice and generous person. It is there's no veneer, there's no fakeness. Abby is and same with Nancy. Nancy is so funny. Like, so funny. Such a funny person. Um, I have nothing but extremely nice things to say about both of them. And Abby is just so sweet. Like, I can text her at any time and ask about stuff for, like, hair because obviously I got my hair cut for, like, the first time and, like, have layers now, and I'm like, "I don't know what I'm doing," and I'll ask her, like, "What do you use for XYZ?" And she'll text me back with, like, links, and she's so sweet. And we also it's nice to have somebody to talk shop with, like, we can talk about how much we work on stuff and have somebody just be like, "I get it." You know? I need to hit up Abigail for a Zoom chat with Pink Floyd. She would love that. Yes, Abby would love that. And Abby is so smart and covers lots of stuff that Nancy and I don't cover. So, hey, Derek. Um, so, we don't we kind of don't overlap, but I did okay. So I did watch I didn't watch the whole thing, part of the, Vinyl Fridays, oh my god, Glass Onion cover, and I was so thrilled to see first off, great, so funny, so interesting, but also I was so thrilled to see that Nancy and I don't really step on each other's toes at all. Like, we don't really if you wanna watch, my stuff, you're not gonna get the stuff that she covers at all with my stuff. And so if you want the musical breakdown, you're just not gonna get it with me because I'm a dumb, dumb dummy, right? But if you want, um, like a hardcore talk about the story background, you're probably not gonna get it the same way you do with me, and you're gonna get like a dumb music person reacting, whereas she's like breaking it down. And I told her because she's never watched any of my videos. And so I told her, I was like, "Hey man, I saw some of your Glass Onion stuff. We are not like we're not overlapping. So um if you want to watch it, you know, like if you not watch it, but like if you were worried that we're like stepping on each other. We're not stepping on each other. The Live Aid thing is your first besides Lost in-depth project outside of the Beatles. It felt like my first project outside of the Beatles was Concert for Bangladesh because it was so unbeatly. Um, I will say that Live Aid in the middle, the chapters are Ethiopia, then like Band-Aid, you know, the 2, singles, Do They Know It's Christmas and We Are the World, then Live Aid itself, like the organization, a brief foray into the sound of that. Then the next one is, the timeline, this thing, because of course I had to do the board. You guys know me. You guys know me. You know, I had to do the board. So we break down board by board anecdotes will be woven in through the board. It's very similar to the White Album board, but it looks better or it will look better once I fix it. And then after that, I'm doing a Beatle break. I'm going to talk about everything Beatles that I could possibly pull into this project. And the reason why is because after that, it's going to get heavy. So this is the closest thing to journalism that I've ever done for any Lars Lamb video. And it's not indicative of what like where I'll be going in the future. I'm not going to typically be this heavy, you know, talking about such dark stuff. But and I hope I'm concerned like I put out a thing for Patreon because particularly with Patreon, there's a lot. Like I don't know how long the Patreon one's going to be, but it's probably going to be like double. Um um I don't know who TJR is. Um let's see. But I was telling Patreon, like, I'm worried I'm gonna bore you guys because the music aspect is going to be so like, there's not gonna be a lot of music in this. And so I don't want to, like disappoint anybody, but it turned into something that I didn't expect it to be, and that's just the way it is. So now I have to do it the way that I found to be extremely important, and I just want to get it right. And so it's more important to me to get it right than to do the music. And then after that, I'll be ready to go back to help, and I'll be happy to go back to help because help will feel so nice and fun. He does music reviews and doc too. I don't even know who he is. But yeah, no, I think we're sticking with the three of us, Abby, Nancy, and I. But yeah, what was I gonna say? I've done a couple of podcasts. So I did a podcast with Chris, the Gen X Muse podcast, which is on Spotify. I've done a talk with Angel. As we go along with Angel, you'll see him here in the chat, but you guys should go check out both of them. The Gen X Muse podcast on Spotify, and as we go along with Angel on YouTube. I did a talk with him. I don't know when it's coming out, but it'll come out, soonish. And then I did a Beatles note by note podcast episode, which I did on how do I not remember what song it was? Well, it'll be a surprise because I'm completely blanking on what song it was. In that podcast, I listened to one episode of that podcast, and I think if there's a podcast that I'm going to listen to outside of I haven't listened to Another Kind of Mind podcast on Lewison, but I would probably listen to that for obvious reasons. But I have to say, those two, Beatles note by note, they're very good. They're very smart. And then I am doing a Fans on the Run podcast soon. So I'm doing podcasts with people soonish. I'm backlogged with other stuff. No, you're good, Angel. No rush, dude. No rush. You got stuff going on. You got life and happen. I knew one of the ladies that hosts Another Kind of Mind. I'm excited about the fact that they have done a Lewison series because that needs to be a conversation. It's a difficult conversation. That one, I think I got some pushback against him. Not a lot, but the people that were I would say specifically person that was mad about the Lewison lied video was very mean. Like he was like he was it was some of the meaner comments that I've gotten since the Yellow Submarine album video, which I don't know how many of you guys know this. I've got a couple friends in the chat that do know this, but the Yellow Submarine album video, I don't know what happened, but it got shared somewhere and I got like violent sexual threats from that video, and I had to private it for 5 days. Okay. Let's see. Do you find the Beatles doing a Lord of the Rings film is crazy story? That will be a video. That's a video. I don't know when, but that's for sure a video. I'm a huge J.R. Tolkien fan. Huge Beatles fan, obviously, it'll fit. I think it's cool that your videos unfold in unexpected ways, but it's honest to how you're processing the info. And I feel like we can end up with new insights into things that we may have been overlooked. Thank you. I think one of the things that I like about my stuff, and I do get complaints about this, and I'm going to try to be better because these complaints are valid, that I spend too much time talking about my process. And I get it, but I always have to do like a chapter 0, a little bit of a roadmap with all my little things. And so I'm going to try to find a way to like pare down because I know it is like, it's a lot. Like I agree. So that's something I am going to work on, but I do like kind of the editing coming in and saying, hey, this is going on. I don't understand. I think that it's fun to kind of do that. The long and winding road that leads to Mordor. Oh God. Some things should just stay in the vault. I'm joking. Lars, sorry if this is kind of an irrelevant question, but I've just graduated from college and considering going into journalism. Are you in the US? If you're in the US, I've got answers to you. If you don't, if you're not, then I don't. Um, and Peter Jackson wound up doing a Beatles documentary. I think he was asked about that. I think he probably found both of those things to be very interesting. It must have been an extreme overlap for Peter. Peter Jackson's early stuff, if you've seen his early movies, gold. But no, that's fine. Irrelevant question about graduated from college and considering going into journalism. So there's a couple of things. If you haven't taken any classes on AP style or whatever style your publication works on, okay, US, okay. You need to know your AP style in and out, and you need to learn how to write an inverted pyramid story. Get a hold of someone who is in journalism, write a couple of stories for them, like even about something that isn't a story, you know what I mean? And try to get someone to look over your writing before you go into it. And I would just say apply, 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 because right now in US journalism, there's a lot of places that need general assignment reporters in sort of smaller towns, but you're not going to get a lot of money. You're going to be very broke. Like it's not going to be a living wage. So, but it's fun. It's life changing. It's extremely difficult. Um, like the first 3 years I had in professional journalism were the hardest. I mean, outside of when I was getting sober, the hardest years of my life. Like it almost broke me. It was so hard, you know. Um, I wish that former Wings member and solo Beatles session players formed a band together like Denny Lane, Klaus Foreman, Jim Keltner. Can you imagine? Maybe Richard Perry would produce it. I know, ridiculous, but we could dream. We could dream. That would have been, well, Denny's gone, but is Jim Keltner still around? I don't know things. But no, that would have been amazing though. I always feel kind of bad about Beatles session players because I don't feel like I mean, I know they didn't get paid enough. Richard Perry passed away this year. Oh yeah. It's hard to keep up with all these people. There's so many people. There's too many people, some might say. Keltner is still with us. Yeah. Good. Years ago, I wrote for Den of Geek. Didn't pay much. Just it was extra gravy, but it was fun. Yeah, it is fun. The stories I write can range from like $80, which it's never usually that low, but to about like 150. But that's freelance. And then my freelance editing stuff is more than that. When I do digital editor freelance stuff, it's more than that. But being an editor is harder because you deal with a lot of like angry people who don't think that you covered them properly, but really you were just telling the truth. It is what it is. And you got to protect your reporters because they don't deserve it. They've been working their asses off. So, but usually it's just kind of like making sure that you write the right stuff and you put the commas in the right place and that kind of stuff. Make sure that the links are clickable. But yeah. No, it's I guess if you didn't take any journalism classes and you're interested in going into journalism, I'm so sorry, but you're about to graduate from college, you need to take a journalism class. Remember that guy who said Lars was too young to like the Beatles? I remember one time there was somebody who was so fucking ridiculous. And he said, like, you think you're the Beatles fan? And I was pissed off because I really don't. R.I.P. Aussie. Yes, I agree. That one's hard. Mm. Mm. Hang on, guys. I'm collecting myself. I don't need to be crying right now. So I saw it from a meme, and I thought that's not very funny. And so then I looked it up and I thought, oh shit. there's so many there's so many publications that are saying that he's gone, and it it's not that he's too young to die, of course, um, it's just that the show was 19 days prior, so it was like, we just saw him, and Ozzy had so many health problems, but I thought for sure if we were gonna lose him, it would've been, like, I think was it 8 years ago when he had that surgery? And then I knew it was bad when they stopped doing the Osborne podcast in the media house because I was following all of that. And I, of course, watched all the podcasts with Ozzy in it. And, sometimes it was like hard for him to talk, but it was more like his voice was just kind of difficult, you know. And I mean, if you're a Sabbath fan, you know how to understand Ozzy. It's not that bad, but it did get a little difficult at times. Um but when I woke up and I kind of figured it out, I sat up and because I was taking a nap, don't you dare judge me. And I was taking a nap and I started crying. And my partner is a huge, huge Sabbath fan. So I was like trying to control myself because I felt like any sort of like overly emotional reaction was almost disrespectful to them. So I was like, I can't, so I woke him up. I was like Ozzy's dead. And it was like this. They were like this for, you know, a while. And um I was happy that he got to see Kelly get engaged. Yeah, I agree. I think Iommi said that it was like that last show he went and he said goodbye to his fans and we're not crying, guys. Talk about listening to shit lossless and it being really good. Listen to Sabbath lossless. Dude, so good. So good. Rock stars usually die suddenly with no warning. At least Ozzy had the chance to go out the way he wanted on his own terms. It was beautiful. I agree. I feel like it's one of those things where, um, Johnny Cash was old and, he died after June, and it felt like it was kind of like one of those things where he was ready because she was gone. Um, it kind of felt like that. I felt like he he was able to spend a good amount of time getting some rest in his final years. Like he still worked and stuff, but he still had time, to himself and to his family. And Ozzy was um, so family oriented, and I was just really happy to see that he saw and he. I don't want to cry. Some people get a hunch that they're close to the end. I have a hunch that Ozzy knew well in advance he went out on his terms. I agree with that. It's sad because him and Sharon wanted to go to England to retire officially. I remember that, yeah. After Forever is probably my favorite Sabbath song, especially now. I have to say, I really like Sweet Leaf. But, like, Iron Man and some of the more popular songs, I never found them to become overrated or, like, overplayed, and that is not how I feel toward Yesterday. I'm sorry, guys. Ugh. Am I gonna get in trouble for saying that? I used to think that Sabbath only had one thing, and then you get into them and you hear so much depth. What an amazing band. I mean, what an amazing band from the same album, Master of Reality. I love Master of Reality. I just that band, it's so it's so good. I mean, my god. S My band does a Christmas version called Sweet Wreath. That's so funny. Created heavy metal, yeah, absolutely. They had a huge depth. Yeah, they really did. Sabbath Bloody Sabbath was like, hmm. I was, like, in such a sheltered thing growing up that, I wasn't really allowed to Am I back? Am I still black? Am I here? Hello? Am I frozen? Anybody? Anybody? Hello? Hello? Am I frozen? Okay. Okay, cool. Alright. Um No, I was, like, in a really sheltered, like, very Christian life here, and, my friend Rachel, growing up, she listened to, like, all this really crazy, awesome stuff, and, Sabbath her dad's favorite was Guns N' Roses, so we got a lot of Guns N' Roses, but a lot of Sabbath, a lot of I read somewhere where Sabbath sending demo tapes to Apple. Can you imagine if they signed them? They, uh Oh, sorry, guys. I put it on ads to be very conservative, so it was, like, the lowest amount of ads. Um, but, uh, I I was really, like it never freaked me out, even though, like, I was in one of those weird Christian situations that were like, you believe in demons and stuff. I never, um I see myself freezing now, but, like, I never felt like Ozzy and Sabbath were that dark, and they're really not. They sound, like, heavy, but they're not that dark. Sabbath and Ozzy were my gateway into so much same. They were my gateway into Metallica, and Metallica was my favorite band for a long, long, long time. Long time. For a long time, it was, like, Metallica and Smashing Pumpkins, some interesting combo, but not that interesting, and I really liked both of them. But I also listen to a lot of rap still to this day. Oh shit, I gotta get going here soon. All right. All right, folks. I hate to wrap it up very immediately, but I just realized what time it was. So I've got to hop off here. But I love you guys so much. Thanks for hanging out. Um, on a last minute warning and coming in talking and sorry about the technical issues in the middle. I love you guys so much, and I will see you soon, I'm sure, next time I want to complain about Live Aid. All right. Bye, guys.